All right, traders, welcome back. It is time for our 2022 performance update on the trade that we affectionately call the IWM Millionaire Maker. All right, so as you know, we are slowly working our way through the dozen plus different trading strategies that we've deployed over the last year, 2022, and getting into the actual nuts and bolts of the results of these trades. So let's get into it here and talk about the trade again that we affectionately like to call the IWM Millionaire Maker. This is a trade that has an interesting history. This is a trading strategy and approach and underlying that I have traded in my own personal accounts for a decade now with this particular setup. And when we introduced it into the trading room, it was not received with a lot of fanfare. In fact, it is consistently and perennially one of our lowest potential return trades that we do. And so a lot of consternation, a lot of just maybe misunderstandings in terms of why we would even want to bother with a trade like this. And as I want to do here with all of our strategies that we employ on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, I want to touch on three aspects of the IWM Millionaire Maker trade. Give a little bit of an overview of the trade and how it works and how we structure it and how we put it together. Obviously talk about the results that we were able to garner for 2022 and then look at any key takeaways. And I think, again, it's ultimately the takeaways that we get from these trading strategies and doing them over, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of iterations of these trades over multiple year periods. That's ultimately the bottom line for us. We're not looking at back testing. We're not looking at hypotheticals. We're not looking at virtual paper trading accounts. We're looking at real world results. And there's a lot, I think, to be said for that. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you in terms of the overview of the trade and how we set it up. So let's get in and let's talk about what it is that we are actually doing here with our IWM and why we refer to it as the Millionaire Maker trade. So this, first of all, this is a weekly trade that we do. We usually initiate it on a Monday, and it is a credit strangle. If you're not familiar with how we set this trade up, I'm going to drop a link in the description below of the training video on this particular trade. But it is a weekly credit strangle. We do enter both sides at the same time. Both sides at the same time. Okay. A lot of trades we scale in, we leg in. This is not that case. We enter both sides at the same time. And the goal of this trade is pretty straightforward. We're using a couple of tools. We use ATR, average true range, and we use Keltner channels. And these are the two main tools that we use to find our levels. Okay, so overview of the trade. The goal of this trade, very straightforward, very simple, 1% a week. That's the goal. Okay, what were our results? Well, our results were astounding, I think, to put it mildly. Obviously, 52 weeks in the year. And we did 57 trades. Now, you might say, how do you do 57 weekly trades in a 1 year period of time? Well, one of the benefits that we have had with this trade is FOMC releases. Those come out on a Wednesday, And usually we are in a position, we put this trade on generally on a Monday. Wednesday afternoon comes around. Not always, but usually we are in a position to be able to pull that out at a profit. And then we wait for the reaction from the FOMC announcement and we put it back on. So there are a few occasions, you can see there are basically 5 occasions where we were able to double dip on our IWM trades. But we did 57 total IWM trades over the year. And the average, the result was basically on an average buying power of $2,794 per contract. That's per contract. So one contract is going to be just under $3,000. Okay, so average buying power about 20 cents, and that will ebb and flow. Sometimes it's as low as $2,200, $2,300. Sometimes it's as high as $3,400. But this is the average buying power per contract that we've allocated. For each contract that you would have allocated, that would have equated to $1,329 of net profit. That's net. That's after fees and commissions. Okay, so that would equate to essentially a 47.56% APR. Just under our target of basically 50% a year. That's what we're really shooting for on this, is 50% a year. And what's interesting about this trade, we're going to get into the key takeaways here in just a second, but on this trade we did 57 trades, and all 57 trades were winners. No losers. Not a single solitary one. Now, we had some close calls. We had some that were pretty darn close to break even by the time the 4 days had come and gone. But nevertheless, that result, I think, is the takeaway right here. And the takeaway really is consistency. The takeaway is consistency. So that's, I guess, the main thing that I want to chat about here with regards to the IWM Millionaire Maker. Obviously, one of the key focuses that we have in this program is our zero DTE trade. I think we have the best published, at least the best published performance results with the zero DTE of anybody that I have seen. And it's a great trade, and it's awesome, and we can make 10% a day on a zero DTE trade if it works out for us. And so, I mentioned, hey, there was a lot of consternation and just questioning when we brought on the IWM Millionaire Maker trade. People saying, wait a minute, I've got the ability here with this zero DTE trade to make 10% in a day. Why would I put money in something that has, at best case scenario, the potential to make me 1% a week? Well, the answer is consistency. And so I want to have a little chat about consistency and how, what, guys, this is enough. This is enough to get you to where you want to go financially. You don't need more than 47.56% return per year. That's enough to get you to where you want to go. We always take a look at this, and I always put in the disclaimer that everything that you're seeing in here is wrong. We know it's wrong because it's an assumption going out 11 years into the future. And we just know that that's not reality. That's not how it's going to work. Over 11 years, you're going to vary. You're obviously going to vary. But if you could do essentially, $12,000, that's going to be 3 contracts. That would put you at about 3 contracts. 4 contracts. That would put you at 4 contracts, right? About $3,000 a piece. 4 contracts there. and you were to be able to get the returns that we have actually been experiencing. We were a little bit shy of 50% this year. We were above 50% last year, but that's the target that we're shooting for. In 11 years, your $12,000, your 4-contract trade a week, could potentially grow to $1 million. And that's why we call it the Millionaire Maker, because there's all kinds of stuff that we can pump into a compound interest calculator, go out 10 years, 20 years, 30 years into the future and say, oh my gosh, look how many millions that trade could potentially bring us in. But of course, the thing that they all lack, consistency in their results. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that we're just going to have year after year after year of doing this Millionaire Maker trade and never, ever taking a loss, never, ever having a loss. That's not how trading works, and we understand that. But I think if you've been a trader in 2022, you know how tough, how volatile, and at times how nasty this market has been. This is the worst downturn that the market has had since 2008. And this trade performed flawlessly. Again, 57 trades, 57 winners. Not a single solitary loser. And it's enough to put $1 million in your pocket. And if you're a trader, you got this amount. If you don't have this amount, you're not yet a trader. You're still working on becoming a trader. You can't really trade, quite honestly, with less than $25,000 because of PDT issues. So most anybody that is in our trading room has the ability to do this trade. Everybody has the ability to get this result if you can focus on the consistency aspect. And so that's really the takeaway here. You know, we all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, and boy, that applies to the stock market. You really need to play the long game. The number one thing that traders are looking for if they want to become full-time traders or they want to use trading to generate income for their family, to actually live off of it, right? They want consistency. Obviously, they want profitability, but they need to do it on a consistent basis. Excuse me, you can't go to your mortgage company and say, sorry, I had a bad month, I'll catch you up next month, right? So you need consistent results. And unfortunately, what you find is that traders are consistently shooting for home runs. And when it doesn't work, you try something different. And when that doesn't work, you try something different. And when that doesn't work, you try something different. And then finally, you incur enough losses or enough number of losses that you just give up. And you're done, right? Versus starting with something that is a very, very consistent result, but not flashy. It's not flashy. And yet, I think most of you would be pretty happy at the end of the year if you were up 47.5% on a trading strategy that never had a single losing trade. So that's why we love this trade. That's why it's one of the cornerstones of our program. And it really speaks to the number one thing that can help traders move to profitability. Okay. See, what happens is you find something, and over time, as time passes, you will get off track and you'll change what you're doing. And it creates a downdraft. It creates a drawdown and a loss. You don't like that, so you start your build back, and then you maybe add some more indicators. You want to improve, you want to change up your system. That creates another loss. Then you draw it back, you start all over again. Then you change to a different market, a different time frame, a different setup, a different software program, a different brokerage platform, whatever it is. And again, it's going to knock you down. And what we really need is a game plan. One of the things that our traders love about our trading room is that if it's a Monday, you know what we're trading. If it's a Tuesday, if it's a Thursday, if it's Friday, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. You're like, oh, today's Thursday. That's our oil trade. We're going to be putting an oil trade on Thursday. We know what we're doing. We have a system. We have a game plan, right? Because what happens again in the evolution of a trader is that they start off, they might have some luck, but eventually the losses start to culminate and you start to lose some confidence. And then at some point, if you can hang on long enough, through that ugly, horrible, painful time of not making money, not being successful, feeling like a failure in the marketplace, if you can hang on long enough, you can find somebody that can help you put a trading plan in place. And so it is about having a game plan. It is about having a system. A systematic approach to investing. We never ever just wake up in the morning and say, I wonder if we're going to be able to find something to trade today. We have a systematized approach to trading, and the IWM-Millionaire Maker is certainly a part of that. Just talking about this concept of consistency, I want to share one other thought with you here before we sign off. And that is that probably the number one, I have conversations with so many traders over time, and they all ask sort of the same questions, and the main question that gets asked more than anything is, how can I make more money? How can I make more money out? Even if you're successful, we all want to make more money. And what I share with them is very counterintuitive, but what I say is, if you want to make more money and you want to be more consistent in your results, seek to log smaller wins, not larger wins. Okay, and that sounds counterintuitive. You want to make more money. Maybe you're making $100 a day, and you think, well, geez, how great would it be to make $500 a day? That's going to put you in a bad place. You're going to over position size. You're going to take more risk. You're going to find riskier trades. Your risk reward ratio is going to be off. And so the thing I tell everybody is, you know what? Consistently making $200 a day could put you in a very, very nice position over a 1-year period of time. That's a $50,000 income. $50,000 income over a 1-year period of time. We don't need to shoot for $10,000 a day, $1,000 a day, even $400 or $500 a day. When you're getting started and you're starting small, look for those singles. And there is no better trade that we have ever found. Look, it's pretty darn hard to get better than a 100% success rate. Again, there's no guarantees that that's going to happen year after year, but this is a trade that can do it. And it is our most consistent trade. We do have several other strategies that we're going to be sharing with you here as we roll out our 2022 performance result that never incurred a loss in 2022. But from a consistency standpoint, man, it's really, really tough to beat the IWM trade. Okay. And again, just making a couple $100 a day can put an extra $50,000 a year in your pocket. The key is not that $200 is a lot of money. The key is that you're doing it consistently, right? So again, guys, I know a lot of you are interested in checking out our program. We do have a free 1-week trial that you can jump in and check it out. We have a 200% money back guarantee if you sign up for a month and don't absolutely think what we think, which is this is the highest value trading room online today. If you're interested and you wonder if you're a good candidate for our live trading room, number one, we're looking for experienced traders. We're not looking for people that have $2,000, that can't fund an account, that don't know how to trade, and that are just learning, because we are trading pretty high level strategies. So you do have to have a little bit of experience. If you're in a trading room now that is only maybe giving you one strategy a month, a year, maybe you're in a room that all they do is 0DT. Well, that's ridiculous. That's a waste of time. No trader is ever going to tell you that's a good idea. So maybe you want to look to upgrading. If you want to look to upgrade to a dynamic versus static 0DTE approach, and maybe come see how we have, again, what I believe is the best performance result that is publicly shared. Maybe somebody's doing better than us, but they're not willing to share their results. Then you might be a good fit for us. Okay. If you are interested in coming on and checking us out, you can go to try0dtforfree.com. You can live trade with us for 7 days for free. You can interact with all of our trading members. You can ask them questions. You can interact and talk and see what they think about the program. Check it out. And that's a great way to get your feet wet. In addition to that, I do want to try to really push this year, this buymeacoffee.com/theta seller, trying to raise some money for juvenile diabetes. And all of the money that comes in through this program, we're going to donate at the end of this year, 2023, to the Juvenile Diabetes Association. We'll have a little party virtually with all of us and go over that process, and I'll thank all of you. If you want to donate at the highest level, which is $50, I'll actually send you one of our t-shirts, and I will get you in on a monthly Zoom that we do. It's probably going to be the third Sunday of each month. We'll have a Zoom session and we'll talk, you and I individually, about what's going on with your trading and see if we can find some kinks and help you out. So love it if you would check both of those out. Appreciate you guys. We're moving on to our next strategy. I believe will be our DIA long Vega ladder strategy. So we'll be working on that here, and you should have that up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Take care, guys.